and welcome to Python programming course. I'm Jayant Mahara along with Analytics Vidhya is here to present a course on the essentials of Python programming. This would be an ideal course for people who are from a non-tech background, people who are transitioning towards the technical side of it, people who are exploring the world of data science, data analytics, AI engineers, all those folks who have taken a break from programming languages. This will be a quick refresher for people who are already in the world of coding language. This course will help you understand, revise, and deep diver into the world of programming languages. And Python is being selected because it is being used in the AI world extensively. So this will be really helpful. Throughout these videos, bite-sized videos, I'll be helping you understand the fundamentals to advanced stages with resources and the methods of doing all these activities. This is our very first session for our first week of content. So we'll be taking it light, understanding the world of Python, where all you can practice, where all you can start working on it from an absolute beginner's point of view. So all right, with that, let's dive in. So as you can see on my screen, the entire weeks that will be coming forward will cover concepts like Python basics, functions, OOPS programming language, numerical data, visualization techniques. And each of these topics would be quite engaging and will require you to practice hands-on assignments, right? But before we go deep dive into it, let's explore in terms of what are the options for absolute beginners to start working with the Python programming language. Because it's a programming language, so it requires an environmental setup so that you can write your codes and those codes can be run and produce a desired output. So for that, we have options like uh, Colab notebooks, which are being given by Google. These are cloud-based notebooks which requires minimal amount of setup. Practically, all you need is a Google account, and you're all set to run your codes. This is like the first step of any data science or Python programming person who wants to get hands-on exercise on the Python world. This would be an ideal thing to go for. Second would be the Anaconda environment, which allows you to download Anaconda on your system, which allows you to work with Jupyter notebooks on your local system. This is also amazing platform to work with. Since I have already downloaded it, for you all, you have to go and download this Anaconda version. Once you download that, you can go to Anaconda Navigator, as you can see on my screen. It will open a window that allows you some pre-installed packages and softwares that allows you to run Python coding. As you can see on my screen, I can click on the launch button after I have downloaded the Anaconda environment. It goes through the various commands and gives you an introduction to the Jupyter notebook system, right? So this is one way where you can write your codes, and the easier way is to work with the Colab notebooks. In Google Colab, all you have to do is go for Colab on your search bar and it will pop up this window. All you need is a Google account. Once done, you can click on Welcome Google Colab Notebook and it will give you a environment where you can run your codes, right? All you have to do is click on Connect and a free cloud server is given to you where you can run your codes. So one method is Google Colab, second method is Anaconda, and the third one is something which I'm going to be using in all my videos is the Visual Studio environment. All you have to do is go to VS Code, download, and download the Visual Studio Code Editor. So since I'm on Mac, it is giving me the Mac option. If you are on Windows, it will give you the Windows option. If you are on Linux, it will give you the Linux options. So either of the three ways you can pick to start working with your codes. For our demo sessions, I'm going to be sticking to Visual Studio Code. But the same codes can be run on your Google Colab notebook and your Anaconda Jupyter notebooks also without any problem. For the day one, this is more than enough. As we will progress, I'll help you understand the more complex part of how to set up the Python, how to establish an environment in a system, how to download packages, pip install, all of these things will come. But for day one, let's just try to set up a Python environment and run some basic codes which will help you understand the entire Python operations. All right. So the things that we will be covering on our day one would be talking about how does an IDE like Visual Studio works? How can you run your codes and those things? What are the various elements involved in the Python coding? And how does your output gets generated? Right. So you will be given all these resources. You don't have to worry about that. For now, understand how these things works, and with these resources, you'll be able to practice those things in the real world also. Right. In a Jupyter notebook that you can see on my screen, the name would be any name that you want to give to the notebook, followed by .ipynb, interactive Python notebooks. Why do we call them interactive Python notebooks? Because these notebooks comes with cells. These are called cells. And when I run these cells, they generate an output, while the remaining cells remain intact. Hence, they are interactive Python notebooks. Now, what are we doing in this very first cell? Let's go to the ultimate basics, right? Since it's our day one. So let's talk about the basic stuff. In Python, you can write comments to help people understand what is your objective behind the code that you're writing. For example, I have written a simple comment of hash. This is a single line comment. That means anything followed by hash will be considered as a comment. It will not be a code. It's just some notes that I'm writing for someone else who will read my code will understand what I'm trying to do. In case if I have multiple lines of code comments, I can do apostrophes, and anything between the three pairs of apostrophes, inverted commas you can say, will be considered as a comment. Right. Now let's go a little bit more complex. To show you how the Python environment works, I'm declaring a simple function. What does this function does? This function takes a value from the user and prints it. And like a greeting welcome. When you open your Netflix account, Spotify account, you see that it says welcome followed by your name. In my case, it will say welcome Jayant. How does these things work? How does you are getting an output on the screen? These small things are built by using these small functions. So if I break that down, def is a keyword which tells Python that there is a function called name greet. That function expects a name and returns that some values. What does it return? It says hello followed by the name. So if I add a new cell by clicking on code plus here and call this function again, greet, right? And I pass something else, ABC. So it says hello ABC. And if I pass Jayant into it, it says hello Jayant. Why? Because greet is a function that takes a name as an input and return a command, which is hello space the name. So just like that, with few lines of code, you have built an amazing function which you see in all your apps in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Netflix, Spotify, anywhere you log in, Amazon. The way they represent the information, they are also using something very similar, a simple function like this in the back. And now you also know it, right? Isn't it wonderful? So with that, let's do some basic stuff. That was just to give you, just to increase your interest in it. We'll talk about everything like what is def, what is return, what is f, what is print. All of these things will be covered. But this demo was just to show you how amazing Python is. All right? Oh, let's deep dive into it. In Python, there are a lot of data types. Data types means variables that the computer can save. In real world also you have like integers, right? If you want to tell like how many siblings you have, you will say, right, 2 siblings, 1 sibling, those are integers. Then if you are telling someone your weight, right? Maybe 55.5 kgs. You're telling someone your age, 23 years and 9 months, something like that. So which has a decimal part of it. We call it float in programming language. Then we have, this is your integer, this is your float, this is your string. String means any set of characters. Then you have Boolean flags like true and false, right? So these are your basic data types available in the world of Python. So if I type X and click the run button, what does it print? 42. Why? Because I have saved the value of X as 42. If I type pi and run the cell, what does it print? 3.14159. Now if I run here name, what will happen? It will print Ada. So these kind of variables are getting stored, right? So for now, these things seems very easy, but as you will progress, you will realize how important they are, right? Similarly, we have some advanced data types also. For example, if I add one more cell here and paste item, what is an item? Item is a list. List can have multiple values. As you can see, it has values like 1, 2, 3. Then we have a tuple. Tuple can also have multiple values. Fun quiz here. Can you tell me what is the difference between a list and a tuple? Try. If you don't, I will cover that in the future sessions, right? For now, just take that as a important data type. Then we have some dictionaries. What are dictionaries? Dictionaries are your key value pair, where you have a key, where LR is a key. And what is the value of that key? 0.01. And then we have set. In mathematics, we have set, right? Set theory. These are called your set within the curly braces. So you see the difference between item, point, and unique is the brackets. These are square brackets, round brackets, and curly braces. Simple stuff. Let's try to do some arithmetic on top of it. So in Python, if I copy this code and add a new cell, so what I'm trying to do, I'm declaring a variable a comma b. Value of a will be 7 and the value of b will be 3. Then what I'm trying to do is, I'm saying print arithmetic comma a plus b. What will be the output? 7 plus 3. A minus b, a multiplied by b, a divided by b, a modulus b, a percentage b, and a raised to the power b. If I run this cell, look at the output. 10, 7 plus 3 is 10. 7 minus 3 is 4. 7 into 3 is 21. 7 divided by 3 is 2.333. 7 modulus 2 is 2. 7 percentage is 1. And 7 raised to the power 3 is 343. So you see how easily in Python I can do some complex calculations. If you want to do way more complex calculations, look at here. What is this function is helping me print, right? These are logical operations like, is a greater than b? 10 is greater than 3? Yes. Is a equal to b? Is 10 equal to b? 10 equal to 3? No, false. Is a not equal to b? That means 10 not equal to 3? That's a true statement, right? Awesome. All right, great. So those were your data types, the basics, and these are some your mathematical functions. Slightly increasing the complexity of our discussion, in Python we have conditions also. What are these conditions? These conditions help us grade some scenarios in a way that, what if a certain condition is true? Do a particular task. If it is false, do some other task. For example, a student has scored 86 marks. There is a rule in the school. If the marks are more than 90, if score is more than 90 or equal to 90, the grade of the student is A. If the score is greater than 80, the grade is B. Else, the grade is C. And then I am saying print the grade. So what happened? Look at here. The student will got grade B. Why? Because student got 86. Is 86 greater than equal to 90? False. Is 86 greater than 80? True. So the value of the variable grade becomes B. And then here I am printing that value. Fair enough. Then I am running a simple condition. For now, if it sounds like little complicated, that's okay. But if you understand that, look at here. I'm doing the if else only, but in one line. What I'm saying is that the value of status is equal to pass if the score is greater than 60, else fail. Okay, so let me change this thing. If I make it 91, then the grade of the student is A and the student is pass. If I make it 20, what will happen? You are all right. The grade will become C and the student will fail. Interesting, right? So if these things you found it challenging, don't worry. We'll revisit these things again. Right now, trying to establish the fundamentals, which are really basic stuff in Python, and will help you understand what huge potential it holds. Next comes your loops. What are loops? So if I copy this code and add a new cell, what this command will do? It is saying for I in the range 3. That means for I value in the range 3. What is range 3? If I run this thing separately, range 3 is values between 0 to n minus 1. Integer values. That means 0, 1, 2. Why not 3? Because we go till n minus 1. So what I'm saying is for I in range 3 means first I value will be 0, print that. Then I value will be 1. Then I value will be 2. So if I run this set, I'll get these values, right? If I change it to 5, then what will happen? It will go till 4. Right? Sometimes it would be required from user to enter some values. What will you do then? You ask, like for example, when you're filling a form, you let users enter the value. What will you do in those cases? There is a function called input. If I run this function, you see on top what is happening on my screen? It is allowing me to enter some value. So input function allow users to enter some value in the command. So let's try to use that, right? I'm defining a function called ask name. It will ask users their name. Okay. And then it will say enter the value. For example, if I run this function, say hello from the Python, this function got printed, and hi viewer. Why viewer? Because I'm not asking someone to print the name, right? So let's call this function in terms of null. Let me not call this value. Let's see what will happen then. Now it is asking for a name. I typed in Jayant and I got an answer. Hi Jayant. So what just happened here? We called the function ask name and we did not pass any value. You see, empty. When I pass an empty function, the value of the variable stimulated would be none by default value. If simulated is none, yes, this becomes true. Name. Enter your name will be called and the compiler asked me for my name. And then the moment I entered my name, the user replied with the answer, hi, Jayant. So in our today's session, we talked about the world of Python, possibilities of running the Python code in Google Colab, Anaconda, and Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, we talked about comments, functions, variables and data types, simple mathematical operations, if-else conditions, for loops, and the combination of function and if-else conditions. If you can revise and practice these things, it would be an amazing foundation for all of you. And don't worry, we'll be coming up back with more interesting videos to help you get the mastery in the world of Python. Until then, I'm Jayant Mahara. Thank you very much.